This is what women say they want when you ask them.
Right.
But confidence, I think, is actually number one, is what
Yes.
women actually want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
They do not like.
that's part of what's funny about him saying this is why we know he's wrong, is because like I think most people look at this chart and they say, yeah, this isn't real.
Of course.
It's not real.
What do you think? What do you think was driving all those women to have sex with Russell Brand? Was it kindness?
He tries to justify one of the claims from the last video that one of the most common things women ask for in relationships is leadership from men. I laughed this point off when
Yeah, I'll be right back. You can keep it going.
Okay, cool.
he initially made it, but he doubles down on it again, so I think we should address it.
This, by the way, is coming from the people who will say, "Source, bro, where's your source, man?" on literally every claim that you make after telling you that you should Google all their data for them. Particularly when one of the most common things women ask for in a relationship is leadership from men.
Source? Can we get a source?
Gee, I didn't know I needed a source for common knowledge. You know that's an exception in research, right? Next, he's going to ask for a source on...
Is it common knowledge that women want leadership in a man? I mean, maybe they do. I don't know. I never heard that before.
what color the sky is.
So we're both using the common knowledge exemption there, right? I use it when I laugh off that claim for just being insane, and he does it when he invokes the dating tips clause.
You don't think this is a common knowledge exception? Well then, who has to ask who out on the first date? Is it 50-50? Or is it almost exclusively the men initiating the relationship? That's leadership because leaders are the ones who go first.
These are both of our versions of common knowledge, right? So if it's his version against mine, how do we break this tie? Well, we just Google.
I wouldn't think of asking a girl out as leadership. I think of leadership as like, I'm going to plan the vacation for us. Which, I mean, if you ask me, like, that's kind of wife work, like planning the vacation. Wives are so good at planning vacations. I mean, let's be honest here. Maybe they should have more of a leadership role in certain situations. But asking a girl out, obviously. Guys, don't be wimps. Ask the girl out. If she says no, no big deal. You ask a different girl out. But don't sit around and wonder, you know, if she likes me. Just ask her out. It's the quickest way to find out.
Google it, right? And what do you know? Look at that. When you actually ask women what they want in relationships, leadership isn't even in the top 5. I think he underestimated.
Hold on. What's he saying?
Against mine. How do we break this tie? Well, we just Google it, right? And what do you know?
Oh, they Google it. Okay. We ask 64,000 women what they look for in a partner. Most important thing, kindness. Look at that. Leadership isn't even on the list here. Like, why would it be leadership? What the hell? You're in a relationship. It's a partnership. You're not looking for, I mean, it's not a military platoon.
Leadership, Adam.
Kindness, supportiveness. Look, often leadership is the opposite of supportiveness. Like, do your job.
Well, and
intelligence, education, confidence. I can't believe confidence is so low. Look, this is what women.
You don't trust this. This is a problem. I wouldn't trust this either.
This is this is what women say they want when you ask them.
Right.
But confidence, I think, is actually number one. Is what
Yes.
women actually want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of what's funny about him saying this is why we know he's wrong, is because, like, okay, I think most people look at this chart and they say, yeah, this isn't real.
Of course.
It's not real. Yeah.
What do you think was driving all those women to have sex with Russell Brand? Was it kindness? Was it kindness? I mean, he said he was having sex with 80 women a month.
Talk about.
You think it was kindness or you think it was confidence? I think it was confidence.
Right. You know, it's funny. It's actually, so I was kind of looking through, I'll take a brief aside here. I was kind of looking through, I read the article.
So did I, yeah. Oh man, it's a page turner.
Yeah. And it's funny because, like, the underage girl who's accusing Russell Brand of sexually assaulting her and being in a relationship with her. She says she kind of puts out two personal stories. She puts out the first personal story, and I say, that doesn't sound credible to me. That makes me think this isn't true. But then she says the second personal story, and it sounds so true that I'm like, oh, wait, maybe this is true. And the first story that made me skeptical was she talks about how when she took a taxi or an Uber or something to his place, the taxi driver literally tries to beg her to not go inside because he has such a bad reputation. And he's like, I have a daughter your age and, blah, 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 blah. Right.
Right.
And I heard that. I'm like, that kind of reads to me like and then everyone stood up and clapped, like in the tram kind of story. Right. I mean, it could happen. It could definitely happen, but it just seems to be a little bit too cinematic for.
Well, taxi drivers have regular routes, and this guy's shagging 80 women a month. That taxi driver probably drives 50 of them over there.
So, yeah, okay. So I'm just saying this is my perception. So you could be totally right. The taxi driver could be real. He could be just used to driving women.
Yeah.
Definitely possible. But then I read her second story, the story about how they met. And to me, it reads so realistic, but unusual enough that like I wouldn't perceive as a random person to just create it from nothing. And the story goes is that she was outside and he was filming something and he sees her and he comes up and he starts talking to her. And she had just bought a bunch of dresses. And he does this move where he opens her bag. He takes her bag from her. She knows that it's Russell Brand, even though they never interacted before. He takes her bag from her and he starts critiquing the dress choices she just purchased. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is very interesting. This is a very red-pilled negging technique. Then he picks out one of the dresses and says, you're going to wear this on our date.
Yeah. Where's the confidence on this list?
And I'm like, and guess what? That move 100% worked on her. And I heard that.
He is an international celebrity. Yes. So, I mean, it's how much.
I understand. But I read that and I said.
What girl is going to say no to that?
I understand. But when I read that and I said, that seems so realistic to me, that interaction. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean the sexual assault happened. I'm just saying that interaction felt so real that someone like Russell Brand would do that. I was like, okay. It brings up my confidence level in some of her claims. Right. So I just brought this up, and I'm sure we'll talk about the Russell Brand thing more on Tuesday or something. I just brought that up because to me, and you brought, as you said, confidence is the top of the list. Confidence is the top, at least in terms of how relationships start. Confidence is so high up there on the list.
Oh yeah, of course.
If it was just kindness and supportiveness and intelligence, there wouldn't be all these hashtag nice guys walking around, right? Who are like can't get dates.
Yeah, true.
And it is interesting that he says he's criticizing Think Before He Sleeps because Think Before He Sleeps says leadership, and he says leadership isn't even on this list. When leadership and confidence, that's what he's talking about when he says leadership. He's talking about confidence to take charge of a situation and a person and tell them, what's what.
Yeah, leadership's just a bad word for that.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't use the term leadership.
It's not confusing.
It is confidence.
Leadership makes it sound like you're enlisting her in your army, which is just not a good way to start a relationship.
Look at that. When you actually ask women what they want in relationships, leadership is...
They don't know what they want, so they answer incorrectly on their surveys. Typical women.
Isn't even in the top 5. I think he underestimated
Noah.
Listen.
I wonder if Noah has a girlfriend.
Listen, if when I ask a girl, where do you want to eat?
Mm-hmm.
And they can't even answer that simple question. Okay.
Right.
What makes you think when I ask them, what traits do you look for in a man, that they're going to be able to answer correctly?
Have you gone on a date and ordered for the woman? Have you just like said, oh, you're going to have this and this and this?
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh, you've done that? Really?
I've done that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Some girls really like that. Now, I don't like
you
to
order
do
the
that.
Steak and you're like, she's going to have a salad with the dressing on the side.
Now, I would never do that with someone I didn't actually know what they want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, obviously.
Because even though I know that there are women that like that, I don't know if I want to be with a woman that likes that.
Yeah, it's just
I want a woman to be like, listen, I'm fine to assert confidence and dominance. I don't want you to baby me. Like, I'm not, listen, I'm not looking to be someone's father in a relationship. I know that's an unusual thing for some women, but I don't want to be your dad.
I think the player move would be to ask if they want you to order for them. And if they say yes, then you're ready to go.
No, you've already, no. Listen, I'm surprised. You usually have very good advice for women.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to ask.
Look, I'm not giving advice to women. I'm giving advice to men.
No. I'm saying you usually have very good, you're right. I mean, usually have very good advice on women.
Right.
If you're trying to do the confidence move and you have to ask them permission to do the confidence move, then you've already lost the game.
No. Some women, if you order for them, you're going to come off as a schmarmy asshole.
I agree completely.
So,
but the woman that wants you to do that, they're going to be turned off by you asking in the first place.
No, I think a woman would be more intrigued that you might be able to order for them. And they'd be like, oh, that's an option? They'd be like, oh, this guy's creative. Look, he's got this option that I never even thought.
Oh, you mean like you're going to be like, let me guess what you want?
No, you're going to say, listen, do you want me to order for you? And they can say yes or no.
I'm not sure.
They're like, no, I want to see what's on the menu. Okay. Like,
that's fine.
Who knows? Maybe they're in the mood for something specific. Maybe they don't want to make a decision. Maybe they're just like, oh yeah, go ahead, order.
Make the decision for me.
Yeah.
There was Scott Adams said, here's the move. Okay.
Oh no.
You know.
Scott Adams?
No, this is actually a good move. Okay. He says, you know what they actually want. You know where they actually want to go, but they're not going to say that's where they actually want to go. So you just be very decisive. You don't even ask where they want to go. You just say, oh, we're going to this place, right? We're going to go to this restaurant. And they say, okay. And then as you get in the car, they say, what if we went this place instead? And you look at them directly in the eyes and you say, that sounds wonderful. Let's go there.
Mm-hmm.
And you give them accolades for suggesting them. That's the move. That's the move. You don't say, where do you want to go? You decide where we're going to go, and then you know that they're going to suggest something else, and you say, yeah, let's just go there. That's fine.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Technique.
So just order for them, and then when they say, look, I'm a vegan. I can't believe you just ordered a steak.
Then you say, get the fuck out of here. I don't date vegans. I only date girls that eat meat.
Well, that is a good response, actually. I'd hit her up with have I told you how veganism is immoral?
There you go.
Estimated just how bold of a claim he was making there, because he compared an easily disprovable falsehood with knowing that the sky is blue, which, that's fun. It's very sassy, very catty from him. Ooh, meow.
Stop saying the sky is blue. Stop saying, duh, the sky is blue. 50% of the time, it's black with white polka dots.
Wow.
Look, why do people say that? It's such a fucking idiotic thing to say. 50% of the time, it's not blue.
Look at this fucking guy over here. Look at this joker over here.
What a moron. Why? I can't believe you're letting him get away with this shit.
Well, remember, this is the same video where he does not acknowledge the fact that he got all those studies wrong. And he's criticizing Think Before You Sleep for making this claim about leadership.
Why you let him oppress the black sky like that?
Listen.
Oh, ooh, meow. These unsubstantiated dismissals of statistics are made because at his core, Think Before You Sleep just doesn't believe stuff. How could women care about...
This is from the guy who quoted studies that showed that he was wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And then lied about it.
Representation when he and the people around him do not. Of course, women want to be led in relationships, like kindergartners, being a line leader is a masculine trait, because that's what he thinks they want. Does what they say actually matter here? No, of course not, because his knowledge is common knowledge, and that's all you need. If a survey says women feel underrepresented in games, it must be one of those woke gaming surveys where they ask a bunch of...
Well, okay. So for Noah to go off so smugly and all this stuff, besides the fact that he got all the studies he cited completely wrong and then lied about it in the study. Okay?
I love that part, by the way.
Putting that all aside, if you're going to be this smug about the situation, then you have to at least address Think Before You Sleep's argument, which was his argument was, and you might not agree with using the word leadership, which I agree with, but he's talking about something, which is obviously leadership or confidence or whatever you want to call it is a primary factor because, you know, the majority of the time, not always, but the majority of the time, men are still the ones that are asking women out in the first place. And so the relationship can't even start before that even happens. So if you want to criticize that point, Noah, you have to actually address that argument and explain why you think that action of why men are still primarily the people asking women out doesn't have anything to do with leadership or confidence or whatever you want to call it, as opposed to you just smugly saying, well, I looked up a survey and it said kindness.
Yeah, I know. The first thing he Googled. So stupid. Deal
Sure,
with for
woke.
$5. Look, Deal with for $5 totally settles it here. Say to your girl, guess where we're going to eat? And what they guess is where you're going to eat. Big player moves. That's
good.
That's a baller move right there. Guess where we're going to eat? And whatever they guess, you're like, yes.
You got it. Oh my God, you're you know, me and you were on this wavelength. Okay, we know each other.
What if
I
they
know
say
we love
where?
each
What if
other.
they don't guess? What if they say where?
You say no. You guess.
That's right. You force them into it.
Yeah, you make them guess.
I said guess.
I said guess, bitch.
That's right.
Woke gamers, woke questions, wokely.
There's no way that much of the general population agrees with this woke narrative, considering that in places like America, half the population are conservatives who don't care about this, and tons of liberals are anti-feminist too.
Half the population, 170 million chuds. Can you imagine? January 6th is just like the Lord of the Rings. Don't put your
Oh my
anti-feminist
God.
fantasies in my head, man. It is truly fascinating, though.
So does he deny that half the country is conservative or something? Is that? I mean, he made like a non-point.
It's probably worse than that. I mean, 50%. I mean, only 50% of voters are conservative.
Sure.
There's a bunch of people who don't vote that are probably conservative. So it's probably 60% is conservative.
Well, if you're assuming that the majority of people that don't vote are conservative, I don't know if I would agree with that. I would think
I think
more
they are.
likely. I would think more likely people that don't vote are more left-leaning because they would be less likely to vote anyway.
Oh, you're right,
If you
because they're
have-
lazy.
Yes, exactly, because they're lazy. So
Watching him dance around for his audience and act like 8 hours of gaming is so much less than 10 hours of gaming, and act like not being able to find a study means that the study that we found is wrong, even though the study is right there on the screen proving the thing that he just doesn't believe. This is
you notice how
He's so insufferable.
he doesn't tell his audience at any point in this video that that study that he found is not actually the study Dove used, and he's just actively lying about it right now as he made this video.
Wow.
Disgusting.
Dishonest.
And yet he's going to say, oh, Think Before You Sleep is dancing around the issue. He's not addressing the issue, he's dancing around it.
Well, he calls him a liar straight out, too.
Yes. Bitch, you're not even telling your audience that you got the wrong study. Don't give me this.
Hi, you just listened to a clip from the Sitch and Adams show. If you like what you heard, you can listen to our live show right here on this channel on Sunday, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you want, you can super chat us. We read $20 and up super chats on the show and then do a follow-up stream on the following Tuesday where we read the rest of the unread super chats and interact with fans of the show. Subscribe to this channel right here to listen to the live show or to listen to more of our awesome clips.